Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Julie Gilbert from Oregon Weight and Wellness, and I'm joined with Rachel Matthews. Hey, Rachel. Tell
Hello,
us where
everybody.
you are. Yeah, tell us where you are. It looks like you're walking in the beautiful outdoors.
Gosh, I just keep getting it. It keeps cutting up and coming in and out.
Well, you look beautiful. That's for sure. You look beautiful, and it looks like you're it looks like you're getting fresh air, and it looks like you're walking, and it looks like you're having a great time wherever you are.
Yes, we are. It's beautiful out here.
Yeah, great. Okay. Well, we're going to carry on and we're going to soldier through. And we are in our next section in Michael Pollan's Food Rules. And it's part 3. It says, how should I eat? And Rachel, we were saying that this is so important. It's not just the what of what we eat, it's the how of it.
Okay, you totally broke up there again. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find a better reception.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right. I'll just carry on.
I'm so sorry.
No worries.
There we go. You carry on, and when I can hear you, I'll respond. How's that?
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, this
All right.
one seems like a better spot.
All right, and let me see if I can turn. I think my mic is on and working, and yeah,
I can hear you.
Okay, great, perfect. All right, yeah. So it's not just what we eat; it's how we eat, and he talks about the French paradox, and we've alluded to the Mediterranean lifestyle, and actually we have a whole group pretty much, I mean, primarily, and we go through a book called Slow Down. And I think that's primarily focused on the how of our eating. It's so funny because I just finished having my lunch, and Gail was sitting there with me, my sidekick, and she's like, Julie, you've got 20 minutes to eat. Slow down, So I'm constantly having to remind myself to eat slowly, because eating slower, as we learn in slowing down, is a slow down group, helps your body get into that parasympathetic mode. And okay, Rachel, she's going to try again. It helps your body get into a parasympathetic mode. So it's called the rest and digest system. I'm going to say it again, the rest and digest system. And it helps, and our body then, when we eat slowly, then we can absorb nutrients better. When we eat slowly, then the hormones have time to be released and to signal, to talk to our brain, to let us know when we're full. So this whole section is about how to eat. And he talks about, some of the manners and some of the cultural things, some of our eating habits, some of the guidelines that govern how we eat. And then, and some of us come to the table with things that we learned from home that might have served us well then. But for example, who remembers that clean your plate? You can't get up from the table until you clean your plate. Well, that probably was good then, because cleaning your plate really meant eating the vegetables that were left on your plate, probably. Anyway, it did for me. And, but now maybe I put more food on my plate than my body needs at the time. So I don't have to carry that culture into my present. Helped me in my past, not necessarily for my present. So this is really good. This chapter is going to be, or this section is going to be great about talking about how we eat. So we really want to get curious. Oh, here comes Rachel again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I think I'm on Wi-Fi, so I think I'm going to be okay. Let's try this again.
Okay, great. And Rachel, we were talking about all the questions, getting curious and asking ourselves questions, maybe observing how we eat.
Ooh, yes.
And asking ourselves, okay, I wonder why I do that. Why do I do that? And the different, am I sitting at a table? Do I sit in front of the TV? Does that change, how I'm feeling, hunger and satiety? All those things. So I'm really excited about just introducing this subject, because a lot, when we go for counseling or tips, or weight loss or whatever, most of the time it's strictly focused on calories, number one, and then number two, maybe, whatever, high carb, low fat, high fat, all those things, when that's part of it, but it's not the entire picture.
So true. And even exercise, right?
Right.
We hear so much of this exercise thing. And I love that statement in the introduction of this chapter when he says, it's maybe not just what you eat, but more so how you eat. And maybe you already said that. But yeah, we're looking at behaviors and attitudes and the stress level that you're under. What's your eating pattern like? We had a great example of this. So we're in Bend. I'm here with my daughter and her fiance, and we just had lunch, but we were kind of in a hurry because we were trying to get here, and we're on a timeline today. And we all kind of scarfed our food down. And then I was starting to read this book, preparing for our time together. And we were all sitting there going, we just did the thing we knew we weren't supposed to. It's like here I am preparing for this to talk to you guys about this. I know these rules. And yet I fall back into old habits and patterns of just, and here I had this beautiful sauteed veggie bowl. It was gorgeous. It had every color in the rainbow. It had everything you can imagine, all the nutrients, all the benefits, the fiber, the protein. And I ate it like I was abusing it. Like I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't treating it like nourishment for my body. And if I would have taken an extra 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes at least, slow down, I would have enjoyed it so much better. And then like you said, what's happening to my satiety, to the nutrition as my brain connects the food that I'm eating with, oh, that was nourishment. Shut off all those hunger hormones.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I was confessing myself. Just a few minutes ago when I was enjoying my lunch, actually Gail jumped in and said, Julie, you've got 20 minutes.
Oh,
yeah.
Slow. Yes. Slow down. Yeah.
One bite at a time. You don't have to shovel 3 loads in. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of my son doing his laundry. I mean, he just packs in every.
Very good. Great point that we're trying to pack food in and we haven't even had a chance to chew it properly and swallow it properly and let it get to its destination. And we're just shoving it down.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I really, and I hope what this is helping for people who are listening is to realize that this is a very common thing we all do. It's part of our culture. It's part of our lifestyles.
Right.
It's been a habit I've been doing since I was a kid. And it's not an easily broken habit. A few of the things I try so hard to remind myself, and I've got to come up with a better tiny habit, is taking some breaths. One of the ways that they talk about in that Tiny Habits book and in the Slow Down Diet book that we do in our group coaching is like 4 or 5 deep breaths before you even pick up your fork, right? Just that can shift your body into that slow down mindset.
Right. Yeah. And when you eat, you just eat. I mean, you're not solving the world's problems. You're not you're not cleaning the kitchen.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Totally. I take a bite, I walk around, I load the dishwasher. Take a bite, I'm off doing the next thing.
Yeah. No, you're just eating. You're just
You're just
nourishing
eating.
your body. You're
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
and it's so important. Why don't we give ourselves permission to do this very important intentional, be more intentional, mindful, very important, indispensable thing as
Mm-hmm.
nourishing our bodies.
I love that point is, it's
Mhm.
a gift that we give
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And I try to tell myself when I catch myself eating quickly or eating mindlessly, right? Maybe I'm sitting and
Right.
maybe I'm eating slowly, but I'm reading, I'm on the internet, I'm
Right.
whatever.
Mhm.
I try to remind myself, Rachel, this is a gift. Give it to
Right.
yourself.
Right.
Just, indulge yourself in, and if you're thinking there's no way I could do this, start off with 5 minutes. Could you
Right.
eat for 5 minutes, completely focus on what you're doing,
Mhm.
just eating? And then, try to stretch that out. But it is a gift we can give ourselves. And
Yeah,
it
that's a great
seems
point.
luxurious, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
very right. And it's you're right, because I find myself eating to get to the next thing.
That's right. It's
Right.
just a means to an end, right?
Right.
We're just trying to get to the next thing.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
being in that present while I'm eating, rather.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
because I missed it, did you introduce the chapter we're on, or are we just kind of talking about this section that we're going to go through?
Yeah. So, right. The section we're talking about, the section
Okay.
and all, the culture around our eating, and maybe that
Mm-hmm.
some things served us well in the past, like those things
Mm-hmm.
like, um, the rut that we have of cleaning our plate. We got to clean our plate, clean our plate, clean our plate.
Yes.
And the fact
Ooh.
that actually, when I was told that, as a kid, really clean my plate meant finish eating my vegetables, because that was always the last thing on my plate, right?
That's right.
So,
That's right.
so that was then, and this is
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
And I can, change that tape,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it was that I put too much food on my plate, and if I ate slowly and really listened to the cues,
Mm-hmm.
I'm full and I don't want to go past full, and that means
Right.
that there's still food on my plate. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so kind of looking at our culture
Mm-hmm.
uh, of how we eat, and asking good questions, getting curious. So
I love that. I'm really excited because we've talked about what to eat, and we've talked about um, what else? What were the three sections? Oh gosh,
yeah,
I'm drawing a blank. What to
eat.
eat,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
what should I eat, what kind of food should I eat, and how should I eat? So now we're on the how should I eat. So it's all the behavior around
Right. The
how should we
behavior.
eat. There's
Right.
so much here that we can talk about. This is really exciting, and I think this topic, when we talk to our patients and in coaching, this is where we feel like people start to feel empowered because they realize, oh, I've never done this before. I've
Yes.
never addressed these things before. And you're telling me it
Right.
makes a difference?
Yeah.
It
It really
does.
does. It really does. And I think, right, because it's the relationship with food,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what we really want to kind of spend some good conversation
Yeah.
time about in these coming weeks, is
Mm,
what is our relationship with
our
food.
relationship.
Hmm.
Oh, what a great point. What a
Yeah.
great point. Because it doesn't really matter as much. I mean, it does, but what's on your plate, it could be anything.
Hmm.
But then now, what is the relationship between what happens from when it gets on the plate
Right.
to in your mouth?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and ooh, that gets into some deeper stuff, doesn't it? How
Right.
do you
Right.
treat food?
Hmm.
And then therefore, how is food treating you? And like you said, when I first caught one of the things you said, it's something that's not addressed in most diet plans.
Right.
They don't talk about it on TV when they're talking about different things.
Yeah.
It's more about just what you're eating. So this is going to be a great section
I
of the
think
book.
so. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And it really has me, my thoughts are going all over the place. My wheels are turning.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I spent this last weekend, Rachel, listening to the World Nutrition Summit,
Ah, yes.
and it was really good. So there was people from all over the world coming together, and so it was interesting to listen to some of the same struggles, because, unfortunately, our standard American diet has kind of seeped its way into the globe.
Global. It's a globe. Yeah.
And in addressing our relationship with food, what came up time and time again is our relationship with sugar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is going to be I'm sure that this will come in more in this section,
Mm-hmm.
is that relationship with sugar and how it is infiltrating all of our foods,
Mm-hmm.
and in the addictive process of it.
Yeah. And it affecting our brain, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Right.
So, this should be good.
This will be great.
I'm looking forward to it. And then I was going to tell our listeners that I'm going to be in Bend on Friday. Yeah, and we will be cooking in the kitchen. So, but I think my sister's bringing a dish, and maybe I'll invite her. But anyway, to be continued. I want to be having a rhythm to our Friday sessions, and I haven't figured that out yet. So I'm asking for grace. Until I figure it out, whether it's going to be once a month or probably once a month. And maybe at this session, I can prepare people for Friday if it's going to happen. But this Friday, we're going to be in Bend. So.
Yeah, I think, we'll get a good rhythm of it, and maybe we're at least doing it once a month on a Friday at the same time,
right.
Every 4 weeks. And maybe that's the one that you can catch live. And when we do extras and when we do bonus episodes, those will be tossed in there as a sort of a surprise, but you can always catch them archived. You can always go back and watch different. And you and I and Megan were talking about what we're excited to do when it's our turn to cook with the show. So there's going to be just a lot of different ideas and ways and I think experiences coming at you to learn from, right? Different types of recipes, different types of kitchens. We all have different houses and kitchens and ideas for, hacks on how to cook. So this will be really great.
Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to it. And well, I'm going to steal this phrase from a person I spoke with today, who was sharing with me a beautiful meal that her friend prepared for a group. And her idea was to start a supper club.
Yes. Oh gosh, yes, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Have you kind of run into that, a supper club?
I had some friends who were part of a supper club. I wasn't able to join it, just timing of schedules, but there's lots of different ways to go about this. But I know the one group was, it would be a different person's house every month, and that person would then be responsible for everything, all of the cooking, everything. So then the other people got to come and join and just completely be treated to a wonderful meal. But you could do it in lots of different ways. You could, you could do a potluck, you could do and I have an online plant-based Facebook group where before COVID, we were getting together and cooking together and teaching each other how to cook plant-based meals, but that stopped during quarantine. So we are getting geared up to try to start.
Oh, you're reviving that again? Wonderful. That is so
trying. Good. Yeah. It's starting to get people out of their homes and into other people's homes again.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right. That's awesome. Okay. Well, anything else to add? So are you staying in Bend today? Will you be in Bend again today?
No, we're driving back home tonight.
Back home tonight.
We'll be back home tonight. Yeah. But we're our daughter is engaged, and so we're looking at some wedding venues out here. So it's a quick trip, but dinner will be. We've already planned it. We're trying to plan out what's going to be our dinner before we head back up over the mountain. And Bend has some incredible dining opportunities, and they've got some great plant-based places. So my daughter and I are both plant-based. Her fiance will have to figure out what he's going to eat, but we're going to explore something new.
That's great. Yeah. Fun. So
how about you? What's for dinner for you?
Right. Well, we are incorporating more salmon in our diet. And I've talked about having salmon, but we're pretty simple. There's the two of us. So we get a lot of repeats in our meals, which is fine. I don't tend to batch cook salmon because I don't particularly care for it the next day, but we just thaw out 2 fillets and they're wild caught and actually given to us by a friend, which is always awesome.
Oh,
I said,
yeah.
yeah, I said that before. And then we'll just put those with vegetables. I usually put mine over my greens and cabbage in there.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and Kenny likes to have his separate, but yeah. So,
Hmm.
and he'll roast some carrots and onions. He likes to put
Yeah.
onions and carrots together because yeah, he just enjoys that. So,
They're great flavors together. I love the kind of something that you're alluding to. You didn't say it, but I know that this is what is something that you'd want people to hear is the simplicity of what you're doing,
mhm,
right?
yeah,
Like it doesn't have to be a specific recipe or like chicken cordon bleu, like these, beef bourguignon. You don't have to be making these like big, fancy recipes that are so involved. Oftentimes people say, well, what are you eating for dinner? I'm like, well, I don't know what it's called. There's no name, but I
right,
have broccoli and cauliflower, like I have parts to my meals, but it doesn't have a name.
right,
And and that has been so freeing for me in the last several years as I've changed my attitudes and styles towards eating. I realize I don't have to be cooking a recipe. It doesn't have to be
mhm,
a meal like
mhm,
what you would think of, right? It can be
right,
just food on a plate that serves my body and
right,
is plant forward. So
right,
the simplicity of just the piece of meat and then fill it up with veggies. It doesn't matter what
right.
they are, just
Yeah,
fill in the gaps.
right. That's right. Whatever
Yeah.
happens to be in my fridge at the time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like that. Yeah. And we're doing a lot of preparing our garden beds. So
Yes.
trying to spend more time outside. So that might shorten the amount of time we're cooking in the kitchen, but still making time and
Hmm.
guarding that time, not
Yes.
3 hours but 30 minutes,
Hmm. Hmm.
and guarding that time and then sitting down and really enjoying 20 minutes of eating, because that's really the length of time it takes for the food to get to your gut, and your small intestine to release those signals and then dump into the bloodstream and go back to the brain and say, "Hey,
Wow.
Julie, you had food. You're fine. You're
Yeah.
not starving." So,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
it's time.
So it's just it's 20 minutes is not really that long. It
Mm-mm.
feels like it. And the
Yeah.
first time you sit down and you try to eat for 20 minutes, you'll be like, what do I do with myself? Right. I've seen people, they get kind of fidgety, like, what do I do? It's a little awkward at first, but you'll get it. And then you'll start to crave the calmness and
Right.
the
Yeah.
relaxation of eating
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
well, good.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun section of the book,
Hmm.
and I hope people are inspired for what their dinner is tonight.
Yes. All right. Thanks so much,
Uh,
Rachel, for joining us from Bend. Yeah.
yes, I'm so glad it worked out and I found Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Yay. Okay.
Yay!
All right. Talk to y'all
Have a
later.
great Monday, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.